I am live. Yay! Hey, I'm going to be posting over here. I'm broadcasting from the house. I'm going to be posting over on the main website here for a little bit. You can fast forward easy 10 minutes if you're watching the review, the recording of this. Tonight is week 5 of Global Summer, Global, not summer, it's summer in some places, the winter rather, Global Institute. And tonight is Barre Chord night, so we're going to make everybody's hand hurt. And we're going to be playing some easy stuff and playing some harder stuff. And we are going to be becoming famous ukulele players. And you're going to walk away from here feeling super excited about what you can and can't do on the machine. So give me just a second here and I'll post this in the correct spot. Link to join goes right here. Control V, Shift, highlight, link, enter, edit settings, open in a new window, update, and then I come back over here and I hope that the sound is good, and then I hit update, and we'll see if anybody can check in to let me know if the sound is okay. And I need a ukulele, and I have a bunch of paper, so hopefully I have the right papers. And we'll get started on this little guy. Bring it down here. It cuts off my head. And my wife has just let the cat into the room, so who knows what's about to happen. Maybe last time this happened, there was pure chaos that it was unleashed. Let's get that cord out of the way. And I got my musical microphone right here. If you've logged in, please let me know if the sound is good. And you gonna leave him in here? No, okay. Henry's not gonna stay. All right, we got a few people rolling in now. Let's see, tonight. Okay, so let me run down and make sure that this works properly. View page. That. Don't need that. Sounds as good. Sing us a note. Sing us a note or two. I'm looking over the old dog rover. Da da ba ba da bum ba. I don't even. How did I pick that song? I know none of the words except rover and over. All right, Kat, welcome in. Kat, for those of you who don't know Kat is hilarious and lives down there in the south. Let's see, I need a tuner. That's something that I will be using. And I got my fancy circle of fifths. I found that. And hey, Lynn, welcome in. Aloha, Pele. Good to see you, Sandy. It's amazing. It's amazing. People, how many people from all over the world just joined us. Very exciting. Very exciting. Close enough. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to use this machine tonight, but I'm going to get it set up just in case. How's that sound? That seems like a good idea. Let's see. I'm connected. That's connected. Got sound working. Cindy's here, so obviously everybody we need is here. I changed Cindy's strings today, and she is going to be out of tune all night long, so don't listen to her. Gary and Diane are back in for round 2. I know, you guys, those of you guys that make the daily broadcast, this is a lot for one day. But you have tomorrow off, so it'll balance out, right? So we'll do it that way. Elizabeth is in. Elizabeth, did you get that string changed? looks like at least you survived your trip to the music store. So hopefully you got that back in order. Maria, welcome in. Glad you're back. Good to see you. Jerry, good to see you. Leslie in here for part 2 today. I wear the black shirt at night because I have to. The camera in here is. I have the camera at the studio, which seems like you can do whatever and it's fine. This one, if you wear a white shirt, it completely freaks it out. And so I put a black shirt on here, and that's what we'll be doing. What time is it? 6:57. We're gonna start right at 7, and I'd like for you guys to have out. Where did I put my copy? The little book. And if I don't have my little book, there's no point. This guy. See if you can get this one up on the top of your stuff. We're gonna get started on that one today, right off the bat. Hearing me sing right off the bat, it will be delightful. Let's see who else is sneaking in here. Maria, Gary, and yes, that's right. Sydney is in the house. It's about 11 a.m. in Sydney on Tuesday, I think, is how that works timing wise. So glad you and Janice have been able to make these broadcasts. It's very exciting. I've told everybody, hey, we have people from Australia logging in. Australia and Ecuador. Evelyn logs in from Ecuador. So we're got most of the continents covered. I think there's a couple Europeans who log in, but they don't. There was Nick from Germany, but he hasn't been around a while. So hopefully somebody from Europe is coming in. This is not a good time for them. This time slot is brutal. This time is like 2 a.m. But the daytime ones are, 7, 8 o'clock at night in Europe. So let's see. Who else is logged in? Elizabeth. You sent me a text. Okay, I haven't looked at my phone. Christine, lower your expectations about your excitement for Barre Chords. They're not as it's. I'll give you everything you need to know about Barre Chords today. Everything, 100% of everything that you need to know about Barre Chords will be in your head by the end of the night. Doing them, getting it into your hand, whole other discussion. Yeah, hey Evelyn, same for you. Good to see you. Laurel, wearing a white shirt in Littleton. Oh, Laurel, see, Laurel is fancy down there. Littleton's fancy. Parts of Littleton are not so fancy, but mostly Littleton's fancy. Hey, bring on the bars. Who was it? It was Joyce today talking about that Juice Bar is her best bar. Jasmine's in. Jasmine sent me a photo of her little one. He's teeny tiny guy holding her watermelon shaped ukulele, and it's bigger. The two of them don't match size wise. I'm gonna start a student page with stuff you guys have sent me. It's really a lot of fun stuff I've been getting. Maria's in, Jerry's in, Lynn is the member of the Jolly Roger. Lynn, I upgraded the entire account over the weekend. As far as I can tell, we're supposed to have more resources now. So I absolutely would love for you to give that thing a try and see if it works now. We, as you know, last week we had a terrible time with getting members logged in and into it. And they do show on their end that there was a resource shortage or something. So they moved me on to a bigger server, and of course, and it came with a bigger price. And so they think that's going to solve the problem. And so definitely log in and see if that if it's smooth now. 11 a.m. on Tuesday. Isn't that crazy? It's tomorrow where they are. Phyllis is in for part 2 today. Jacqueline's in for part 2. Linda. I know. I'm running you guys crazy. Jill, hi Jill, welcome in. Deborah, present. Michael is here. And Anne lives right over there. Anne's awesome. Terry is here. Lanny, aloha from the banks of the Mississippi. That's funny. Yeah. Linda, Linda number 1, I think as it is, and Vicky in from beautiful Bozeman. So, all right, guys, 7:01. I do want to get these things started on time because it takes a lot. And I wanted to start with this chord because this book is going to lead into a bar chord assignment for you this week. And the bar chord assignment is going to feel like punishment a little bit, but we're going to start with this and then talk about why you would want to do these with bar chords instead of open chords. And so grab this book out. The main reason I use this book is to teach new players how to change chords, okay, and how to strum properly. So as you know, I'm not a singer. I don't profess that I think it's even pedagogically wise to do that. I do think that being able to get somebody started quickly and easily, this is the book to do it. And when most people buy a ukulele, they're not thinking about turning it into this complicated musical instrument. They're thinking about, oh, we'll get some chords and I'm going to strum and then I'm going to sing. I've been working on the railroad and then it's going to be great. That's what and actually they're thinking about, I'm going to strum Bohemian Rhapsody and it's going to be great. And so I like to get strummers started with this. Now, most of you started with the exact 3 wrong chords. You started with C, which seems like a great way to start. Then you started with F, and that seemed like things were going great. And then they threw G at you, and then things it didn't seem fun anymore, right? And that's because G is not very pleasant when you first start. This book avoids G altogether. We use E7 instead of G, and it solves the problem of getting people started correctly. So let's take a minute. Let's make sure you're tuned up. If you are brand new, this is important stuff. This is important stuff. If you've been around a while, this is stuff you're going to use to teach somebody who's brand new, okay? So follow along with me, and then once we get the bass line set, then we're going to go on to how we turn that into bar chords. So the next piece of paper, well, then we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll go into the bar chords, okay? So your first chord is A, index finger on the 3rd string. Don't get it confused with F, which is here. A is here, and then middle finger up here, okay? I want you to strum with me 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, keep going. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Okay? Now notice one thing that's important when you're learning to strum is that you don't strum with the words or the melody or any of that. You just keep it steady. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to the bottom. Okay, that's your first chord. I teach everybody that as their first chord. Even when I do the instrumental class, I teach them how to pluck the notes out first, and then I teach them that chord. Okay, on this book, the first page, you got Frere Jacques and 3 Blind Mice, and you should just practice strumming and singing them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 blind mice, 3 blind mice. See how they run. See how they run. They all went after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as 3 blind mice? And so what we're doing there is just keeping it steady all the way through. This strumming business is harder than you think when you first start out, and it is challenging. Okay, a few other people have wandered in. Linda's here from Pueblo. Lynn, just give it a shot and no go. Oh, Lynn, I don't like to hear that. Okay, same error. Carol is still having the same error code. All right, I'll call him up because I pay him more to have that not happen. So I'll call him tomorrow and figure out what's going on. Manette, Patricia, Gary's in, and Linda. I have to leave at 6. Oh, Linda. Okay, well, we're recorded if you can't keep up or can't stay. So I started everybody with those 2 things. First page, same chord on both of those. Then the next chord we teach is D chord, okay? Index, middle, ring. If they have fat fingers, or if you bought the cheapest ukulele you could find and you have big hands, not going to fit in there very good. And so if you're a grown adult, you probably need a tenor size ukulele this size. But if you got a soprano one, it's going to be real tight to get everybody in there. You want to make sure not to lean up against that string. Okay, there's a D chord. If your hands are huge, there is a little bit of a solution. You can put your index finger in the middle, middle finger on top, and ring finger underneath. You can do that. Okay. That's not what I really want you to do, but it's not that bad. Okay, so this is a one possible solution if your fingers just will not fit into two. But what we want is everybody's crammed in there just like that, going down. And then for a few of you that have right, you're going to have to do a bar chord, which is on tonight's list. You're going to do a full bar on 2, and your pinky's got to be on 5. That's the challenge. Okay, and then you would have, that's also a D chord. It just has a nice D right at the top. Pop. Okay, so that's for giant hands when you do this one, but mostly we want you to do this one. Okay, so that D chord's the important one. The next two songs on page 2, if you printed it out correctly, you just turn the page and page 2 is there. If you're looking at it on the computer, you got to flip all around until you find page 2. Notice all of the songs with one chord have red headlines. Okay, and that's why I teach all those in the first 15 minutes of teaching chord class. Okay, so let's do D chord. I always skip Farmer in the Dell because I don't like that song, but I am going to teach you row, row, row your boat. Grab your D chord. Okay, it's in 6/8, but we're going to treat it as if it's in 2. Row, row, row your boat. Okay, so we'll be singing notes when we're not strumming. Okay, we're just going to keep this steady. Okay? And we'll start with row, row, just like that. Okay, get it steady. Next level players, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, arpeggio players, you got to go fast. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't work on this song very good, so just so you know. But that's a fun thing to try. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, ready, play. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat right across the lake. Don't stand up and rock the boat, oh, that's a big mistake. Okay. Except for the last measure on all of these songs, even if there's no words that I'm singing and my voice is starting to trail off, my thumb is continuing to have a steady pace. It's the single biggest thing you can help new players with. Keep your beat of your strumming steady. You are the drummer as well as the chord player. Really, really an important lesson for new people to get is, hey, I got to be steady here. Yeah, you can do fancy stuff. Steady, 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 fancy, steady, 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 fancy, steady. You know, when you come back up, you hit it as well, you know, to make it fancier. But at the end of the day, those downs have to be very steady in order for whatever else is going on in musically, either with your singing or with the band you're playing with, that they know that everything is staying steady. This is our pace that we're progressing along at, and then they can put in the melody notes or whatever else that the band's going to do, or your voice is going to put in the lyrics, nice and steady and peaceful and play beautiful. All right, let's see who else jumped in here. Oh, nobody else. Okay. Oh, Cindy's saying hi to Kari. All right, so that's A chord, D chord. Now, from D chord, don't get fancy. Don't try to think this through. You got to make an E7. Okay? From D chord, ring index finger back 1 fret, ring finger down 1 string. That's it. Okay? This is why this chord is superior to teach to new people over G, because this is actually pretty doable. Index finger on top, middle finger there, ring finger down there on bottom. Okay? Okay, and it's got that kind of weird sound to it. It's where I always make a joke about this being the teenager of all of the chords. It's nervous, it's upset, it's complicated, it's trying to become something more different in its life, and suddenly it's going to become an A. So 7th chords want resolution, but in the meantime, there are a bunch of chaos going around them. I teach Lime in the Coconut. I'm going to sing it because pretty good chance if you haven't heard this song, it's not played anymore on anywhere. But I took this song, modified it enough where I feel like it's my version of or it's my idea of his song. And we want to keep it steady, keep the beat steady. And when we get to those words, doctor in bold, if you're teaching little kids, you tell them, hey, I need you to scream doctor when we get there. And once they do that, this is their favorite song. They will love it forever. I will give you a little bit of a weird voice. He sings a real high falsetto voice in the recording of it. But just do something when you get to those doctors to make it crazy. Other thing that I got to teach you, if you don't know this, okay, you're going to be doing this beautiful steady pace strum at the end of the song. When you sing morning, instead of doing ning, you're going to switch over to this finger, ning, and then we're going to do a tremolo. So here's how you do a tremolo. Index finger, make sure that the face of your nail is pointed down toward the ground and not up here toward the neck. It's down like this, okay? You're going to go down and then you're going to come up. The difference is that you are going to open your palm to get that there, and then you're going to go up and down. Now notice, I'm not going to go from my elbow because it won't work right. You're going to go from twisting your wrist, okay? Having your hand wide open, it counterbalances the weight, and you can go pretty fast. Okay, and if you watch Jake Shimabukuro's original recording way back in the day on YouTube of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, he's doing a ton of this. His hand is blurry because they're shooting in 360p back in those days, and you can't see his hand because he's going so fast. He's not really going that fast, but you'd think he was because his hand's a blur. Okay. And so when we get to the end of this, you give me a tremolo. If you are in any type of strumming group in your neighborhood, you know that lots and lots of songs end in a tremolo. I don't know if Denver still does this, but they used to. You have every single song end in a tremolo. So it's funny and it's fun, right? Okay, let's give this song a try. Okay, 1, 2. Oh, it's in 4. I'm going to count in 3, and we're going to go. Okay, 1, 2, get the right chord on, Gary. 1, 2, 3. My brother bought a coconut, he bought it for a dime. My sister had another one and spent it on a lime. You put the lime in the coconut, then you'll percolate. I put the lime in the coconut, drink it all up. You put the lime in the coconut, and then you'll perk on up. Called the doctor, woke him up, and here is what I said. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, to relieve this bellyache. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? You put the lime in the coconut, you drink them both together. Put the lime in the coconut, and then you feel much better. Put the lime in the coconut and call me in the morning. Let it go to the end. Hand up, just like Eddie Van Halen would do, and down. And that's how we end. Okay? So, lots of things that you just learned. 1, how to make an A chord. 2, how to make a D chord. 3, how to make an E7 chord. 4, how to strum, keep it steady. You don't care what the words are, you don't care what the melody is. You're just keeping this like a drum beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I put the meter on all of these songs so you know what you're supposed to be doing, how many beats. If you want to, you also learn, if you want to fancy it up, you go down, also make a noise when you're coming back up to do it again. You can do your right hand this way, 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 you can do your right hand that way. All of those things, all of those tools are things you can add into your typical, I'm going to print out the chords and lyrics page from the internet because that's what I thought we did in ukulele, and turn it into something much more instrumentally interesting, hopefully. And then once we learn those chords, then I go through the book. Everything with a green headline is a 2-chord song. So I usually do London Bridges because it's got a nice amount of time for play the A chord for a while, and then you play the E chord for a while, and you play the A chord, and then the E. So you got a little bit of time between those to get practice that. Depending on how the class is going or the individual student is doing, I may do all of the green headlines. Sometimes if I'm like, oh, this person has it, I'm going to just do one. Then we move on to the blue headlines. Those are 3-chord songs, and that's when you know you've really got a pretty good skill set when your A chord, D chord, and E7 chord are jumping onto your ukulele. Also notice this book comes apart, right? So when you can put your chords over on one side of the table and put the song that you're going to do in front of you, and that way you can remind yourself at least early on how these chord shapes look. And so there are 2 chords, 2 songs in here with the F sharp minor, and I don't remember what they are. The Kookaburra, and I think it's what's it called? Vive la Compagnie is also got the F sharp minor in it. But honestly, once you've taught them those 3 chords, F sharp minor is nothing, because F sharp minor, obviously, you're holding A chord, you just add your ring thing in. You got it. The last thing I teach on this book, okay, songwriters, focus. Remember last week we were talking about what chords go together on a circle of fifths? Let me pull mine up. It's already piled under here somewhere. There it is. Remember this? If I grab an A chord, I now know his best friend, second best friend, is D. Guess what the other chord is in the song that we're using? It's also going to have E or E7s and F sharp minor right there. So this book is built around exactly that concept that we talked about last week. The chords are all in a clump. Okay, that means they're going to sound good together, and as long as those chords are there, you don't have to think too hard as a musician. You know how to do that, and so that's why this book is A, F sharp, D, and E7. Those of you who are songwriters, A chord goes to an F sharp minor. Just follow the pattern on the front of the book. Goes to a D chord, and then drops into E7, back to A. You just go around until you're sick of it. So go from A, F sharp minor, D, E7, back to A. Do it again and do it a million times. Hey, Christina, welcome in. Glad you're here. Valerie, glad you made it. Okay, here we go. Let's just do it a few times. 1, 2, ready, play. A, F sharp minor, D, E7, back to A, F sharp, D, E7. One more time around. I don't know what this song is, but I bet it's a good one. It has all the chords of the key of A in it. Oh, yeah. Right? You see how that can work to your advantage. I got 4 chords. I can write a song from 1960 over and over and over. All I got to do is make the words fit into the measure properly, and I've got something going on. So this book, while I call it the kids book, is not the kids book necessarily. So lots of the songs in here are a grown-up adult, like real legit music. Some of them are stupid, but most of them are actually pretty helpful. Lots of you guys, certainly if you grew up in the United States, grew up with these songs. If anybody that's younger than I am probably did not grow up with these songs. They probably grew up with Disney songs. That's what was getting taught in the elementary schools. Here's what's nice. If you know all these goofy old-fashioned songs in here, you get to teach them to little kids and continue the heritage of this kind of music. They don't know these songs, and I've taught a lot of kids, and every once in a while I'll meet a kid who really knows all these tunes, and guess what? Their parents are music teachers or they're involved in the music business in some way. And so you got an opportunity. If your grandkids, you're like, oh, we want to learn to play ukulele, grandma, grandpa, or if it's your niece, your nephew, next door neighbor, whatever. 34, I think, songs in this book and you teach them the 3 chords on the front of the thing, and you're good for the evening, right? You're going to be spending the rest of the night working on that, and it's a lot of fun. So don't put this too far away, because I'm going to bring it up. Those of you who are advanced players and are here to talk bar chords, we're going to bring this book right back out. okay? Because you're going to do the whole exact book. You're going to do the whole exact thing. I'm going to do not every one of them. A, D, and E7, we're going to turn it into bar chords, and then we're going to transpose them, okay? So let's talk about some goal setting stuff. What time is it? 7:21. We're going to be fine on time. I'm very excited. Okay. Each week I'm putting out this piece of paper, the Global Summer Institute 2020. It's sort of my lesson plan, and it's sort of just a reminder to help you of what we're working on or what I thought we were going to work on. So I wouldn't print that out necessarily, but I would, look it over each week when you're like, I don't know what he taught. I have no idea what he was doing on Monday night. That should help remind you. Tonight I want to talk about, for goal setting, this page here, your ensemble certification 2020, and we've talked about practicing. We've talked about, I'm on the wrong side of the paper. We've talked about practicing. We have talked about arranging and composing. We have talked about letting people know you're a ukulele player. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it on there. Do it. We have talked last week about memorizing a tune. Okay, let's take a moment here to talk about whether you memorized your tune or not. I told you if you don't have a tune, you have to memorize My Spaghetti Monster. Okay, I'm doing a good thing for you. I'm making you think about what matters in your life. What matters in your life as a ukulele player is having a tune when somebody says, play me something, that you have something they can play. It's important, you guys. And I know, memorization, right? Don't pick Bohemian Rhapsody for your first song to memorize, right? Don't do it. That's crazy. Pick something easy, something you feel like you can master, something you could maybe have mastered by the end of the night or the end of the week. And My Spaghetti Monster is an absolutely perfectly good one. Happy Birthday is the second one that you should probably just have memorized. And as a soloist, I can tell you, I see all over the internet all of these bands that are ukulele guys, and they're going to change the world. Nobody wants to go to a ukulele concert, including ukulele people. We want to play the ukulele. Nobody wants to sit and listen to it. So you don't need to memorize a huge catalog of stuff. Singers, they have to memorize thousands and thousands of lines of lyrics. For a ukulele player, we have to know 2 or 3 songs, right? Somebody might say, play me something else, right? That has happened to me once or twice, not very often. Nobody has ever wanted me to play them 3 songs, including my mother, right? So you need to have a couple of songs that you believe in. Once you get one memorized, then you can be a lot more selective about number 2, but get one memorized, super important. I want to talk very briefly about teaching. A lot of us, and I know we are 47 tonight, right? And I know a whole bunch of you guys are teachers of music, of whatever, and a lot of them don't log in. They're like, I don't want them to know I'm here. Teaching ukulele, you got 2 choices. You can take the chords and lyrics and singing approach and teach them Disney songs. That's way harder than you think. They will love it if you love it, right? So you could teach them whatever songs you want and just strum and sing, and it's great. The problem with that is that they're going to get bored with that. If I took you to a piano and I says, here's an A chord, a C chord, A chord, a D chord, and an E7 chord on the piano, that's all you're going to know, and then we're going to sing songs. That wouldn't go very long, right? You would know better on a piano, right? You would just know better. That's not good enough. In the 70s, some of you are from the 70s, you bought a guitar, you wanted to sing Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, and what's the other girl's name? Joni Mitchell and the other girl. It'll come to me in a minute. You learned a couple of tunes. They were great. You're having a great time. Things were going good for about 6 months. And then all of a sudden, those tunes were not that great anymore. Music just keeps moving forward, and we abandon great songs over and over and over. And then that guitar that you bought went under the bed or out in the garage or wherever. Who knows what happened to it? And Judy Collins, that's the name. And Carole King, look, there we go. These guys know. That's what happened to your guitar. And because they taught you the chords, you sang the songs, and then that's it, and you got stuck. And so I think this is a great way to get people started, but don't let this be the only way. Go grab Frere Jacques, go grab an unsuspecting human being and go sit them down and teach them how to pluck it out. They're going to have a great time. You're going to do a good job. Do you have to be a great teacher to do this? No. Absolutely not. You have to have good materials, which you do if you hang out with me. If you go to jollyrogerukulele.com, is that it? jollyrogerukulele.com. Go there, go to the ukulele tab and just download all those songs and then just go through them. You can teach somebody how to play Frederica. You can teach somebody how to play Soft Kitty. You can teach somebody how to do Simple Gifts and Happy Birthday. You can. They don't need to know Tough You. Don't get them into that. Don't waste their time on that. Don't, because you don't need to have to do that. Because you're their duet partner. You're going to teach them how to pluck the melody, and then you're going to just very patiently strum the chords right next to them. You're going to have a great time. Include a bottle of wine if they're the correct age, and I promise it'll be a great evening for you. So don't be shy. You do not have to be a great ukulele player to teach it. You don't. And so those of you who are teachers, be brave. This honestly, and if there's something you need, I am always excited to provide you with more like tools or whatever that you might need. I think I've posted most everything you could possibly need on the website. It's just sitting out there for free. Go get it and give it some thought. I really do believe that if I get, though, you guys who are here, you're the top level. This is the hard stuff. You're not here on accident. Nobody won't. Everybody who hates Barre Chords is not here. Okay. Well, that's not true. You also hate Barre Chords, but most people are not going to come here. They don't want. They keep hoping that Barre Chords are just going to go away, and so they're not. Okay. And so we're gonna fix that right now. Teach somebody how to play ukulele. It's good for you, right? It's good for you. I had to do my first class one time back in the day, and I had just like tonight, I had way too much material. All right, we're going to play some songs at the end of the night if we still have time. I think we will. And I only want to talk to you about Barre Chords here for just a moment. Okay. This is what I want you to have out. Okay, and I want you to go to page 3 of it. And I want you to go to the C6. That's where we're going to start. We're going to go to C6. All right. Getting a list of female artists that we love. You know what? I did Joan Jett. What's her famous one? The Rock. I saw him dancing there by the record machine. That one. What is that one called? Anyway, it was when I was a young man. That was one of the greatest songs ever. As an old man, I'm like, she's talking about a 17-year-old boy. And I decided I can't ever teach that song. So Joan, what are you doing? Oh yeah, Madonna. Madonna's okay. They replaced Madonna with Lady Gaga, so we don't have to do Madonna anymore. Okay. Barre Chords. This is your bar. Not this one, not this one, not this one. This is your bar. Okay. I love rock and roll. Thank you, guys. My brain is on bar. My brain is not working tonight. Ever. Not this tonight. Most nights. This is your bar. Those of you who are singers and you've had a capo, this is your capo. Okay. Those of you who own a capo, if you're not a singer, I want you to take that capo and I want you to put it in a drawer. And I will promise you, you don't need it. Okay. If you are a singer and you don't really want to learn how to play this, I'm the wrong teacher for you, right? You need to be going to a singing teacher. They'll teach you, put the clamp on here and play a C chord in front of it and you'll be fine. Okay. You don't need a cable. This is your cable. There's your bar. This is what we're going to do. Now, let's start it on. Let's pick up fret 5. Let's do fret 5 just for fun. Okay. When you strum down, when you put your bar on, there's several things that are going to make it better. Number one, if you'll play for a couple of years, you're going to get this muscle built up nice and solid, and you're not going to worry about getting it down anymore. But until then, we got to do a few little tricky things to maybe make it a little better. Okay. So one, some of you got arthritis, some of you have crazy shaped fingers, whatever. You're going to place that down as straight as you can. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to take it up close to the bar, almost on top of the bar, and then roll it back just a little bit. Okay. So that's going to make the skin underneath your finger a little bit tighter. Okay. So you're sitting basically on top of the bar, roll it back just a little bit. Okay. Right. And let's just do that. And then let's hear if you get this. Okay. Every string should sound out clean. If it's not, it's not. Okay, but that's our goal. Okay. If you're getting like me, this knuckle's starting to grow, this knuckle's really starting to grow, you may need to take that little bar technique, bar on, put it on top of the bar, roll it back just a little bit, and then you may need to push it up a little higher sometimes to see if it gets a little bit cleaner. Okay, I'm a little cleaner that way. Okay. Sometimes you need to pull it down a little bit lower. Okay, on there, push it back, try it a little bit lower. Well, that works for me. By the way, I'm not surprised that Jasmine wrote, "I love rock and roll." You should meet Jasmine. She is rock and roll defined. Okay. If you ever need to know what rock and roll is, just call Jasmine. She's it. All right. So again, we're talking about bar. Ultimately, our goal just to place the bar on there and it happens. Okay, but that's going to take some muscle, and you don't have that yet, probably. Okay, so you just put it on there toward the front of the fret, roll it back just a little bit, sometimes a little further up, sometimes a little further down. Okay, our goal obviously is to get 4 clean tones, and that's what we're doing. Okay, now hopefully that's going well for you. I can't see you, so I don't know. If you're, I need for you to hear this. I need for you to believe this. If you get this, any of you ever played that bar chord? Okay, I need for you to be okay with that for now. Okay, and for now can be up to 3 years from now. Usually it's a few weeks, sometimes a couple of months. Lanny, what was it? Year and a half? I don't know. You know, different people have a different progression of how that's going to go. Largely based on the shape of your finger, how much you work on this, how strong your hand is getting. All of that stuff is going to play a role in how long this takes. Okay, the bar is the important part of this process. Get that bar on. Okay, can I press down on my index finger with the other fingers? Okay, we'll get it. Yes is the answer, and yes is the short answer to that. Okay, Anne is asking, hey, can I take this finger and press it down? Yes is the short answer to that. Okay, there's a much more complicated answer, but this will not teach you a bad habit. So it's absolutely fine to take this finger, even just lay it on top of there and help smash it down. Okay. Okay. The longer answer to that is that there's a bit of a problem in the sense that this middle finger, you're going to be using it to make bar chords pretty quick, and you're going to need it. But for some of the bars, yeah, heck yeah, absolutely. Press it down with this one, perfectly fine. You'll see when we do the 7th chord bar, you'll see that's one of those suggestions I make. This is perfectly fine, and it won't teach you bad habits. The only problem with getting comfy with that is you are going to be needing that middle finger here in the next 3 minutes, right? And so you think about that. My bar chords are clearer as I get closer to the sound hole. Okay, let's talk about why that is, and that's an important next step in this. All right, why did I start you on 5? Because you're probably going to be more successful there. Okay, here's 5, probably more successful. Think about what you're doing. Taking this piece of string, and it's coming off the nut, and it's going down here, getting underneath your finger. It's getting pushed up against that fret wire, and then it's coming up above all the other frets down here to the saddle. Okay, so when you press it down, you're basically making a V shape, dunk, dunk, with the string. That's pretty easy here in the middle of the string. It's super hard here right next to the nut, because now the V is clunk and then way off over that direction, right? So on the next to the nut, it's got to come way down and then go way up here. This is why you hate B flat. This is absolutely why you hate B flat. When your bar is here, you got to squeeze like the dickens to get that sucker down, right? And so it is something you got to do. And there's acres and acres of discussion on the internet about how to avoid B flat. You're not going to avoid B flat. You can't avoid B flat. It's coming at you, right? It's like the coronavirus. It's coming at you, right? So the way we avoid it is by learning to handle it in a smart and wise and thoughtful, scientific manner, right? And the science behind bar chords is you got to have some muscles, right? Don't have those yet. So we just got to have the best technique that we can have, which is put that bar a little bit on top of the bar, or on top of the fret wire, roll it back just a little bit, squeeze like heck, maybe move the finger up a little bit or a little bit down, whatever works, and see if you get it. Okay? And the final step in that is, if you get this, you have to accept that that's what your bar chord sounds like today or at this moment. Okay, this is what you want. That's what you may be getting. It's perfectly fine. It does go away. All right. Now let's talk about what we really did here. Okay. So we've got our bar on 5, and that's a chord. We don't know necessarily what it is. Okay. And then we go back. All these are going to be real legit chords. The reason why we are using a bar is because now we're going to be able to make, with one shape, we can make all of these chords. Okay. So the chord that we're actually making is a C6. So if you look at your paper on the far left side, I have the little grid. It says C6. There's no red dots in there. That means you play all those strings open. And then right next to that at measure 85, you see the tablature, and you see what that looks like on a low G ukulele. So the standard notation is for a low G ukulele. The only reason I do that is because it's easier to see it when you spread the whole thing apart like that. It's easier to see what notes you're actually playing. When you're playing a high G ukulele like I do, that bottom note is always an octave higher, and sometimes it gets lost in all of the other notes up there, and it's confusing. And so I put these in as a low G notation, so it's just easier to see the actual notes you're playing. For those of you who don't read standard notation, what I just said was blah 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 blah. Okay, and that's fine. You don't need to know that. Remember Charlie Brown? Most of everything what I say is that. But if you don't read standard notation, you don't have to. If you read standard notation, you're obsessed with what the actual notes are you're playing, and so those are written out for a low G ukulele. Just know if that note is below middle C, you're going to have to transpose that up an octave in order for it to have the same notation as you're actually playing on a high G ukulele. Okay, that's the end of the blah, blah, blah. Notice, measure 85, tablature, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, that tells you C6 is played open. Now, we're going to go to C sharp 6, which is the next one up. Okay, I gave you the shape up above at measure 86, and I gave you the tablature down below, 1, 1, 1, 1. Put your bar on, roll it back a little bit. This is the hardest one you have to do. Okay, I even get a little bit of rattle in there. Okay, so I'm not doing so well. Maybe move my bar up just a little bit. Still not so great. Move it down a little bit. Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to do here. By the way, I'm squeezing like heck. I don't know if you can feel it in your hand, but I'm squeezing like heck. Also, my thumb is ahead of the bar. Okay, so you guys know I lose my mind if your thumb is up here, because this is exactly the point. You can't have your thumb up here and do an effective bar. You really can't. Okay, and even the crummy players that you see with their thumb up here on, when they get to a bar chord, that thumb disappears and gets where it's supposed to be. Okay, so that thumb needs to be in the middle of the neck and is ahead of your index finger. Okay, because it's going to be behind your middle finger. Let's go up to the next one. Second fret, that's going to be a D6. Go up one more, it's an E flat 6 or a D sharp 6. In ukulele, we never use D sharps. We always use E flats. Okay? Those of you music theorists, don't lose your mind. Just go with it. Okay. Now, notice on the chord grids, I now have a little 4FR. That's important. That means 4th fret. It looks like you're on the 1st fret, but you're not. You're on the 4th fret. The tablature makes it very clear. Slide it up one more. Okay. 5th fret is an F6. Next one's an F sharp 6. Next one's a G6. A flat 6. A6, B flat 6, and B6 to wrap up on the 11th. Okay, so that's what's going on. If I go to 12, I'm go back to C6 and start the whole thing over again. So oddly, this chord has exactly the same name as that. Okay, you would agree they sound different. Okay, this is why I don't know, it's interesting. Okay, Elizabeth says, so the chord name is coming from the 3rd string. In this case, yes. Not always. In this case, yes. So if you're trying to memorize and you're like, all right, when I do the 6th chords, the chord name will be the name of whatever this string is. Okay, this is important in jazz guitar when they do a ton of improvising. They want to know, they have no idea what chord they're playing, but they know where the root of that chord is based on whatever shape they're holding, and from that they can then easily do some improv over the top of that. They probably know the names. Okay, so the important step here on this bar chord process is the bar. Okay, and it does not have to be perfect when you first start. Right now, hopefully your hand is like, ow, that kind of hurts. Okay, so once you understand the bar is everything, the bar is important. Now, why would you want to do a bar instead of just an open string or an open shape down here? If I do this and I need the sound to stop, I can't do anything about it because I don't have any fingers on the strings that I need to stop. Okay, but if I have a bar on, I can stop it whenever I want. All of a sudden, I'm in charge of the music, not the ukulele, and I like it that way. This thing, I love it to death, but I don't want it to be in charge of me. I need to be in charge of it. And so what bar chords do is they make sure you've got something on every single string, and you decide how long that it's going to be. I was talking earlier today, some of you took piano lessons, and there's that pedal, the right pedal, where you hold the pedal down and you hit the keys, and the piano just rings and rings and rings and rings and rings, and you get to decide how long that beautiful sound goes. And then when you're sick of it, you lift up on your foot and it stops the sound. And that's what's going on with a bar chord too. It's basically your right hand pedal, okay, your sustain pedal. And we want to be in charge of how long notes are. It's one of those more advanced techniques that ukulele players typically, they don't even know it's a thing, right? They've never even heard of that. As instrumentalists and more advanced players, you guys want to be in charge of the sounds you're making, and one of those sounds is how long a note lasts. All right, so that's the bar. That's the big issue that we're going to take. Now I'm going to teach you, there's 10 shapes on here that I'm going to teach you, and all 10 of those, once you have those 10, you have every single chord in all the majors, all the minors, all the sevenths, and all the diminished. Okay, don't laugh at my jokes, Barre. It just leads to more. Okay, page 1. Okay, if you're brand new, okay, part of your homework assignment will be to name these chords, name these notes on this piano keyboard. I will post a little thing about what the truth is, but just know, of anything you have to memorize in ukulele, there's one song, right? Whatever that song is, you must have your thumb in the correct position. That's 2, okay? And 3, you really do have to know the notes on a piano, okay? And I know that seems weird. You bought a ukulele because you don't want to buy a piano, right? But you really do have to know this arrangement of notes, okay? First note here, you see there's 2 black keys. I made them blue, okay, because you're going to need to write on them. Okay, you got 2 black keys here. The one that's next to the 2, that's your C, okay? That's a C note. And next to that is a D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. And then they start repeating again, okay? The important thing to note, there's blocks of 2 black notes, and then there's blocks of 3 black notes. And just remember, C is to the left of the 2 block, and F is to the block of the 3. Okay, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's your white notes. Okay, the black notes are going to be C sharp. Okay, and in ukulele it's usually C sharp. Okay, then you have a D. And this is a D sharp, but in ukulele, we call it an E flat, okay? Next note's an F. Then you have an F sharp. That's what we use in ukulele. We use F sharp. We don't use G flat usually. Next one is your G. This is going to be an A flat, okay? Or a G sharp, but usually A flat. Did I get that right? I think I might have made a mistake when I was talking here. F sharp. We don't use G flat. That's what I tried to say. Okay, G sharp is an A flat, and you have your A note. Here's your B flat. That's your favorite note, okay? Because it turns into a B flat chord. That's that note. Next to that is B, and next to that is another C, and then that whole process starts over again. If you don't have this arrangement memorized, you got to get it memorized. You really do. Those 8 notes are there's. It's going to come up over and over when you're working on songs. You just got to know these things. Okay. Once you get that, then we talk about how we put them together in meaningful manner. Whole, half is how my piano teacher taught. That teaches you how to make a key. And then once you know how to make a key, then you know how to make a chord. And that's what we did last week. Okay. So get that little thing and sit down with a pencil and write in what all of the notes are on there, and then start to really understand, hey, when I am transposing and I'm in C and I got to go to D, well, that means that whatever note I was up here, if I was playing a G, it's now going to be an A, and so on. And so take some time to write down. Have a good night, Linda. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Take some time to do that. Now, once we do that, those notes are then lined up in different ways down here to help you follow through. Okay, so you have to know the note. You have to know the name of a note in order to know what the next note is. Okay, so take some time to learn that piano keyboard. Not most of you, probably a good percentage of you already know that part because you've had some prior musical experience. If you don't have any musical experience, we do got to get you where you know that the order that notes go on the piano. Okay. Next thing, because they go the same on the ukulele, you just can't tell the white notes from the black notes on here, and so it's confusing. All right, now let's learn all of your bar chords. What time is it? 7:47. We got 15 minutes. It's going to be great. Okay, C chord. Don't make it with a ring finger, make it with a pinky. Okay, slide it up 1, put a bar on. Okay, same exact shape, right? You've got your C shape and your bar is behind there. Then we move it up 1. Now we got a C sharp. Play that. Okay, move it up 1 more, you got a D. Okay, and here's the important thought here. Okay, you have a different D that you met earlier tonight. Okay, this is the D I want you to make when you're using bar chords. This is the D that we typically use. They sound quite different, to be honest. There's that D, and now I'm asking you to hear this D. Okay, a little bit of a difference there because you've got this high D on this end. Okay, the reason why this is a better D is I'm in charge of all of the sounds. I get to decide how long they are. With this one, I hit this. This bottom string keeps ringing even if I take my chord off, and I don't necessarily know if I like it being in charge of itself. Okay, so put your D back on. Bar 2, pinky on 5. Okay, go up 1 more, E flat. Next one, E. This is the chord that a lot of guitar songs are written with this chord, and it's a chord you're going to be working on a little bit this week. Okay. Next one is E sharp, more popularly known as F. Okay. Up another one, F sharp, and then on your paper I stopped at G. Okay. I stopped at G because the only other chord I might use would be this A, and then I end up way too high up on the neck, right? So. I end up with my pinky on 12, and I don't like it. I don't like any notes of 10 or higher. I just don't think. I think we could just take those notes off. Okay, so shape number 1 is your C chord, and that's why sometimes in my arrangements you see a D chord that looks like this, and sometimes you see an F chord that looks like that. Okay, because you're really just playing a C chord with a bar. Okay, shape number 1. Shape number 2, A major. Instead of using those 2 fingers, index and middle, switch it to middle and ring, A chord. Slide it up 1, add your bar. Okay, A sharp. Okay, I'm getting a dead sound there. Adjust my bar a little bit, cleaned it up. Okay, that's more popularly known as B flat. Okay, move it up 1 more. It's now a B. Move it up 1 more. It's now a C. Move it up 1 more, it becomes a C sharp. Next one's a D, that 1 on 5. Lanny, my buddy who's hanging out with me tonight, we've played more D chords on the 5th fret than I can even begin to remember. Right? This is something that happens. Okay, you move it up 1 more. There's a D sharp or E flat on ukulele, and then we got an E chord right here. Okay, and you could continue going on up, but you start running into this. This is why some ukuleles have a cutout here. Nobody uses that, but it looks cool. Okay, next, so shape number 2 is your A shape. Shape number 3 F chord. Instead of you put your F chord on, but then change it to middle and ring fingers. Oh, I love F chord. Okay, now we're going to start marching it up just like we did the other one. You got your bar behind the nut, F, slide it up one, bar on one, F shape in front as an F sharp. Next one, G. Let's take just a moment to have a little light bulb come on. Remember how we always made G this way? Jink, jink, jink. Well, look what you're really doing with that. The bar is here. This gets replaced with that. That looks like G right there. The only thing you're doing is putting your ring finger up here so that top string is now ringing properly. And you got a new G chord. Okay, let's go up a little further. A flat. A little bit further, you got an A chord. Remember this chord, you're going to be using it on the kids' book. Next one up, this B flat. It comes up all the time in my arrangements. Bar on 5, F shape in front. And it's actually an easier B flat to make here than the one you're used to hating down here. Okay, there's a B chord. Okay, B chord above that. And then delightfully, a measure 7, or fret 7 with an F shape in front, you get a new C chord. Okay. Okay, so there's a C chord. Okay, let's take just a moment and ask you, how's this hand feeling? Ow, right? Again, I've been playing a little while. My hand is noticing that it's getting used. A couple of things about that. One, it's going to tighten up super bunch when you're brand new to this. And it's going to just be tight and feel bad. Just then cut it out for a little while, let your hand relax, and then you can do some more. But you do have to build that hand strength. That is not something that happens overnight. It requires you to play, and you will get that hand strength. But the other thing is sometimes you have to play through the tightness and just keep playing, and then all of a sudden your hand will loosen up. Now, here's what's exciting. 3 shapes, all of the major chords are now taken care of, and some of them multiple places on the fretboard. Those are the 3 shapes we use for all majors. So if you know those 3 shapes and know where to find them on the fretboard, suddenly you are a very powerful player. Okay. What I would recommend in terms of just an exercise is just practice them. Okay, not so good. Let's try it. Let's do the F chord down there. And if you want, if you're into this sort of thing, you can say the names of the chords as you go up. So if I take the A chord, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, B, E flat, E, F, and you can go through and just start to familiarize yourself with where all those major chords lie. You're going to use major chords every single day of your life. You're going to use bar chords every single day of your life. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of effort into a technique where we dig into them. Page 2. I'm going to teach you every minor shape. Okay, we learned the first 3. We're going to do 3 more real fast. There's the A minor. You're going to want to use a ring finger. Bar here. Okay, go up 1. A B flat minor. Okay, here's a great place where you could use this finger to cram down your bar. Okay, on 2, you're looking at B minor, C minor, C sharp minor, D minor. This one comes up a lot. Okay, E flat minor, and then E minor on 7th. Okay, that's in shape number 1 of the minors. Shape number 2 of the minors. Do your D minor, but use the wrong fingers. Middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. That's a D minor. Beautiful. One of my favorite things in the world. D minor on ukulele. High G ukulele. Gorgeous. Okay. Index finger. Ready? Let's go up a few. Next one, E flat minor. Next one is E minor. Next one is F minor. Next one is, let's see, where am I at? 4th fret. We're F sharp minor. 5th fret is G minor. And A flat minor. And A minor. Okay. Pretty tough going there. Okay. Notice on the chord chart itself, I said, all right, I'm showing you with a full bar. That's what I would rather you do. But you can absolutely, with this particular chord shape, just put your index finger on the bottom string and then run it up, and you'll get, and it might be easier. And so on. Okay, so you don't have to use a full bar on that one. I just think you might as well just do them all with full bars. It'll save you time. The other fun thing about that particular shape, it's really your E minor shape. And if you start running that up, it gives you really cool sounds if you leave this top string open. That's a cool one. Oh, that's beautiful. That's that G minor right here. Just beautiful. Okay. Actually, that's A minor. A minor sixth. Sounds cool. All right, so that's shape number 2 of the minors. Shape number 3 of the minors you're not going to like, okay? Use your middle finger on the top, use your ring finger on there, and use your pinky finger right there, okay? You're not going to like that one. That's F minor, okay? This is going to be a bar. Instead of doing a full bar, he's just going to run along this second string, or third string when it's time to get there, okay? So do that. F minor, that's the scary chord. That's the only scary chord on ukulele. Okay, slide everybody up 1 fret. Add your index finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret. That's serving as your bar. Okay. F sharp minor, G minor, A flat minor. Got a cool A minor right here on 4. A B flat minor. Got a nice B minor on 6th. And then I wrapped it up with C minor on 7. But you could go 2 more up to 9 and get a D minor. I don't like that sound. Okay, so that's probably the toughest. Well, there's one 7th chord that's pretty tough. So those 3 are your minors. Okay, A minor shape, D minor shape, F minor shape. All of those are going to be your bar chords for playing in minors. Next thing, you know, I've talked about this a ton. Your diminished shape, it's all the same. So for E diminished, you just use these 2. Okay, but then for everything else, these 2 go on. How do we do this? These 2 go on top, and then these 2 reach out in front. And so I really do. Some people do a bar here. I find it very awkward. So I use all 4 fingers to make the diminished shape. So look at, that's F diminished. Okay. The next one is F sharp. Next one is G diminished, and so on. Okay. Notice that on the tablature, I just ran it all the way up the fretboard, but also notice in the chord grids that it goes up to 3 and then it starts over again. So you go and then go back. And then go back again. Okay? And as most of you guys have figured out, sometimes the same chord will have the same chord shape will have different names depending on the situation, and then diminished shape is that. All right, so now you've got 7 shapes. That's all the majors, all the minors, and all the diminished. Okay, turn to page 3. And we're going to do all the 7th chords. 2 of them are fun. The other one is The other one is actually the one that gets used the most. Okay, A7. But use your middle finger. Okay, slide it up 1. It becomes a B flat 7. Did you hear my crummy bar? Hands getting tired, maybe. If it's going badly, you can also put a ring finger there and use your index finger to cramp down on it. Okay, that's B flat 7. B7 is on 2. C is on 3. C sharp, D, E flat, E7. Okay, you got a nice E7 right there. Okay, and you can continue on up if you want. Okay, why are they called 7s? Because there's an extra note in there. Normally a chord is 1, 3, and 5. When we do a 7th chord, we also add in the 7th note. So we got 1, 3, 5, 7. So any note, any chord that you see some numbers after it, we're adding in one of those, that note further up on the piano keyboard is basically how to think about it. So we're adding in a seventh chord has 4 notes in the chord and creates this characteristic sound that likes to be resolved. Okay, so we like that seventh chord a lot. Okay, great question, Deborah. Thank you. All right, so that's your, what are we on? 7, 8. That's your 8th shape. 9th shape is the C7 shape. Okay, but use your middle or possibly your ring. Let's say use your ring. Okay, C7, move it up 1, add your bar, smash down on the bar if you need to. You got a C sharp 7. Lots of you guys already knew about D7 bar here with your on 2, with your something on 3. Okay, that's a D7. E flat 7, E7. Okay, F7, and so on. Okay, I'm going to do one thing and then give you a homework assignment. So the E7 one, this is the one that a lot of people don't necessarily love. E7, we learned it earlier, index, middle, ring, but instead use your middle, ring, and pinky, and now this is going to slide up. Okay, so E7, slide everybody up, add him on your 2nd string, 1st fret, and now you just go up just like the other ones. F7, F sharp 7, G, A flat 7, A7. That's going to be handy, by the way. A7 right there. B flat 7 and B7, and so on all the way up. So those are your 10 shapes. Those 10 shapes cover all your majors, all your minors, all your 7ths, and all your diminished chords. And the 11th shape is your bar, right? And that covers all of your 6th chords. Here's your homework assignment. Focus for just a minute. If you are brand new, you are turning off your ears. Okay? If you are brand new, I want you to strum through everything in the little kids book. I want you to play all 34 songs. I've been working on a railroad all the livelong day. I want you to play through all 34 songs in that book. I want you to find mistakes. There's one mistake I'm aware of, one, and it's not what you think. Okay. I've been working on that book for years. I fixed and fixed and fixed and fixed, and some of you will sing songs a little bit differently. I want you to figure out how you would sing the song as written in the book. Okay, that's your homework. More advanced players, you have an A chord on 4. Okay, bar on 4, F shape in front. A. Where's your D chord from here? Well, you got a couple of choices. You can go down to this D chord, or you could go up to this D chord. Okay? But this is your A. This is the bass A I want you to use. 4 on 4 with the F shape. Okay, you can use this D, or you can use this D. Okay, and where's your E7? Okay, E7 is back on 4, middle or pinky or middle or ring finger down here, and then back to A. Okay, I've been working on a railroad all the livelong day. Okay, now the reason I want you to do all bar chords, I want you to play through the whole book. I want you to use your A chord and your either this A chord, either this D chord or this D chord. Okay, both either one, and probably this E7. Okay, that's going to make the most sense. After you play through the whole book using all bar chords, then go back through and transpose it. And so instead of using this A chord, how about an A sharp chord? I've been working on a railroad. Instead of going all the way to D, you're going to go to D sharp. All the livelong day. And then your 7th chord is right down below that. Okay, so you don't have to transpose anything. You have to play it exactly the same. You just have to make sure your bars are on the right frets. Okay, and I will try to remember to post a little video about how to do it for one song, and then you want to try it for other songs. But take those songs, get comfy playing them with all bar chords, and then go back through and try transposing that into a different key. And I think you're basically looking for what fits your voice the best, right? And so sometimes a chord will fit your voice just fine with one of these songs. Sometimes you sing too high or too low, and you need to transpose that a little bit. It'll be the same shapes as you were using in A, but you're going to use them different place on the fretboard. And it should be fun. It should be challenging. It should be give you something to do to keep you out of lighting fireworks off in the streets. That's your bar chord workshop. Next week, we're going to play music. Okay. Next week, all the music that I've already posted on there, I'll give you a list of songs we're going to play. We'll get caught up with the arpeggios and all that stuff that I keep running out of time to do. And so next week, I'll give you just a week just to put some of this in play, some of this different ideas that we've talked about. And so we'll use the next week as just a catch-up week, just to sort of repeat of some of this stuff and just get to feeling comfortable. Those of you who are newer, I will be posting your next songs in the intro program so that you will be, continuing on learning how to play. And those of you who are next level players, of course, you've got the daytime classes, which give you the intro stuff along with something hard. We're doing Sound of Music this week and some Americana this week. And so we have the good music over there for you to go pilfer. And then obviously, if questions come up and you're like, I don't know what the heck he's talking about, send me an email and then be patient. And then, guys, they told me that they would fix this login situation by getting more resources. It's frustrating to know that it wasn't fixed. So I will see if I can get that fixed this week as well. Thank you guys for being here. I know it's a lot every single Monday night. The idea is to talk about stuff that we don't ever talk about as ukulele players. And some of this will sink in and become smart, make you a smart player. And some of it will go boing off the top of your head, and that's okay too, right? After the third or fourth time of listening to me tell you about it, you'll be like, how come you never told us about this before? So I'm not telling you anything that isn't important. How about that? Well, I'll tell you a few things that are complete pablum, but other than that, it's pretty good stuff. So go off, stay inside. Don't believe what they're telling you out there. It's brutal. Don't go outside. There's monsters and scary things out there, and you don't want to be out there. So stay inside, play ukulele. I'll see all of you guys either next Monday or Wednesday at the daytime session. And I hope you guys had a great night. I will see all of you soon. I'm going to say goodbye to you as you are leaving the room. Let's see, Kari. Let's see, why do they call something? Kari says they have a note system. Yeah, Kari is exactly right. Thank you so much. All right, Renee, have a great night. Lynn, Manette, have a great night. Thank you. Patty said what? And Patty said great class. Ow, right? That's what this class should be called. Ow. Have a great night, Pauline. Carol, I hope you have a good night. Things are starting to get into place. Have a nice day. Yeah, hopefully everything. Eventually things all make sense. Cindy, keep on rocking. Good to see you, Michael. Ouch. Kari, have a great night. Good to see you, boss. Lynn, good night. Have a great day. I'll see you Wednesday. And arg, ouch, but thank you. Yeah, ow. Well, just get stronger. Stop goofing around. What are you doing? Thank you. Yeah, have a great night, friend. Appreciate it. Leslie, see you soon. Jill, thank you for being here. Have a great night. See you next week. Jacqueline, have a great night. Elizabeth, oh boy, I know. I can hear Elizabeth's brain and churning already. Christina, yeah. Imagine when you're playing piano, Christina, and your hands hurting like this. Then you know you're making progress, right? Janice, good to see you, boss. Phyllis, good news. But have a great rest. We'll be talking about bar chords a lot, Phyllis. So we'll get it to where it makes sense. Yeah, good. Thanks, Kat. Yeah, they're hard, guys. They hurt your hand, but they're very useful. You will find them very useful. Aloha, Pele. Good to see you. Glad you made it. Vicky, go take on Bozeman. Maria, good to see you all the way in from Australia. It's so exciting. I just love seeing your name in our list. Have a great night or a great afternoon for you. Go take on Tuesday. Well, I'm going to finish up Monday. Good to see you. Laurel, have a wonderful day. I will have a wonderful day off. Thank you. Jazz. Go ice the hand. Right. All right, Jazz. Yeah, I know. You're a tough chick. You're fine. All right, Deborah, good to see you. And Lanny, Lanny, remember all these bar chords? Holy crud! Remember back when we would fight them? Glad you're here, bud. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the stream. Have a wonderful evening. Be good and stay safe.